that will allow you to comment and chat to each other, just like you are in a WhatsApp group conversation. And Rishi will guide you through this. Now, before we dive into the game, we can go to the next slide. Just want to highlight a few things about our approach and intention. So with our approach to climate change communication, we try to avoid one-way messaging or overwhelming or unwanted messaging, negative scenarios, and we try to avoid speaking sort of global issues that far away, just so that people will not conclude, whatever I do isn't going to help. It's through play that we seek to communicate that every action counts. And the goal is for communication to be an experience that is interactive, participative, collaborative, and that it offers fun and excitement and motivation. I want to now give the floor to Rishi, our game master, who will guide us through our game. Thank you, Rishi.
Thank you. Thank you very much, Jana. I think so. My name is Rishi Kumar, and I'll be the game master for Minions of Disruption. But I think first it's very important to highlight what we just heard. What we see is that quite often there's this one-way form of communication, and this can lead to a feeling of doom and gloom. And exactly in this context is why I'm very excited to talk to you about Minions of Disruption, because here we focus on the communication aspect. We try to tackle this very complex topic with all its complexities in a way that is fun. At the same time, it's also very collaborative. How can you work together to fight for the same goals? And we try to get a sense of excitement in it. So we've developed a board game. It's called Minions of Disruption. And we've played it with different NGOs, civil society organizations, and municipalities. It's very collaborative, and you're in discussion with a lot of your teammates. And this leads to a change in narrative because you discuss a lot of these aspects and might make you question your perspective because you're trying to convince someone else. At the same time, the benefit of playing a board game is that it makes some of these complex topics a lot more understandable, because you're playing with concrete cards that have a real life implication. So I'm very happy to talk a bit more about Minions of Disruption. I'm going to give a slight teaser of a project that Jana will talk about a bit more. The board game is very scalable. We're going to play an online version today, which is adapted given the current constraints. At the same time, we're also working on scaling the game for a version that we can play in Kenya for the local context, and we're working with our partners together to make that happen. I won't say too much about that because I'm quite certain that Jana will talk a bit more about it in a moment. Before we get started, I will start with a short video that highlights some of the core aspects of the game, and then we'll delve deeper into how we will play together in a moment. Okay, so we have just seen the video on the Minions of Disruption, And like I mentioned earlier, today we'll play an adapted version of the game. And the best way to think about this is to see it as your own neighborhood or your own community. Within that, you have certain essential elements. And I'm going to introduce the 3 elements that are relevant for our game today. And the first one is the pathways. And pathways are the essential services that our community needs. This can be things like housing, work, transportation, all the way to food and water and education. You can see those with the lines on the map. At the same time, every board game has a superhero and a villain. In our case, the superheroes are our zillions. Zillions are the orange characters you can see at the end of each pathways, and these are the ones protecting our essential services. They're the ones really helping us out when it comes to climate change. And this is about when you build resilience, that's when you get a zillion. At the same time, we also have a villain. And the villain in this adapted version of the game is the Klimi. Klimis are the ones causing disruptions, causing harm to the different services, and leading to a lot of problems. So it is our goal in this adapted game to invest early enough in resilience so that we're well protected against these Klimis. How does that work in practice? Well, it is the following. We will play 3 rounds, and each round has 2 steps. The first step is that each team will select 1 initiative card out of 3 options. And once you select an initiative card, you get this zillion, and that will help protect a pathway. After that decision has been made, we will face 1 disruption, and this disruption will cause a Klimi to harm another pathway. And it's about making a decision in terms of where you think most protection is needed. The game itself is point-based. It's collaborative. Within your team, you have to make a decision on which of the cards you pick. At the same time, you try to get the most amount of points. So how does this point system work? When it comes to building resilience, we believe in the concept of early investment. In the first round, you get more points for investing into a resilient initiative. So you get 3 points. In the second round, you get 2 points. And in the final round, you get 1 point. Once your pathway is protected by a zillion, it becomes resilient. And that means that it will be immune from disruptions for the rest of the game. At the same time, there are also things that deduct points. These are the Klimis. And at the end of each round, there will be 1 disruption. And for disruptions, we believe in the cascading impact, which means that for disruption, the amount of points deducted goes up at the end of every round. So we start off with -1, then becomes -2, and then becomes -3. You can see the overview in this slide. So this is what I just mentioned. You will get a growing amount, you will get a lower amount of points for each zillion, but at the same time, the disruptions go up. If it seems complex, don't worry. I think it becomes very clear once we go through the first round in terms of how this sets up. And it's going to be very exciting to see if you can make the right call in terms of which of the pathways you want to protect. So, like we said earlier, it's time to get started. And my colleague already mentioned that this is one of the games that we will play on Slido. And I'm going to ask the game leaders to open up the first question on Slido. At the same time, for everyone listening into the session, you can join us on your phone or on your browser. I would recommend using your phone by scanning the QR code. So if you go to Slido on your phone, you can scan the QR code, or you can also join by typing in the different hashtags. So we have hashtag Team Alex, we have hashtag Team Jamie, and hashtag Team Sam. You can decide yourself which of the teams you want to join, and within that, you will soon join a discussion. The first question once you enter a room is a sort of introduction of yourself. And because we are in an anonymous environment, you can consider Slido as a WhatsApp group chat where you can share how much information you would like to share. You can talk about your interest, your hobby, you can share your name and use a nickname. So while that's happening, I will introduce the different characters and explain how you can make use of these to sort of inform your decisions. So the first character that we've created is Alex. And Alex is a university student who works as a part-time barista and is eager to learn, very much focused for the youth. The second one is Jamie. And Jamie is not a Game of Thrones reference. He is a single parent with young children doing the best to keep the neighborhood safe and clean. So if you want to join Team Jamie, you can join them as well. And the last one is Sam, which I would think is a reference to Lord of the Rings. It's a handicapped graphic designer who tries the best to keep informed about the neighborhood. So please do join us in the different teams. Maybe comment a little bit about something you want to share about yourself. I know that the game leaders are doing the same as well. And for now, I'll ask the game leader, Jana, to introduce herself and mention a bit about the discussion in the group and what's happening when it comes to Team Alex. Jana, the floor is yours.
We're hoping for people to join. So maybe just to explain again, you go to, you can use a QR code or you go to Slido. If you just type in Slido and then you can put Team Alex and you can join the team.
Okay, so while we wait on more people to join Team Alex then, maybe it's good to say something about yourself and then afterwards we'll go to Team Jamie.
Absolutely. Yeah. So personally, I'm with Simavi and I'm working on CSO and public engagements in climate policy and plans. And I work on partnership development. I think Alex is a really interesting character and we can jointly develop her persona or his, see how we would build resilience in our community.
Exactly. That sounds very exciting. I'm wondering, how is it going with Team Jamie? Did the Game of Thrones reference work?
For me, it doesn't, to be honest. I'm sorry to disappoint you, Rishi. I'm completely new to Game of Thrones. I haven't tried it yet. It's on the list, maybe one day. Now we have some people joining in. Maybe a bit about myself, my background. Before I used to work in renewable energy, so quite a lot of work on climate mitigation. So especially that debate between mitigation and adaptation is a very worthy one to have. I think a very valuable discussion to have. Also, where the funding needs to be going. So also in that light, it's really nice to sort of to walk through and see what narratives are about climate adaptation, where efforts should be put to build resilience. So quite looking forward to these discussions.
Okay, that's a very nice introduction. I hope that more people join as well. Then Sam, Lord of the Rings reference. I hope we had a bit more understanding of the reference there.
Yeah, a little bit. And yes, well, my name is Carlos Alonso. I am from Mexico, and I am collaborating with Day of Adaptation since March this year. Currently, I'm living in Germany, and I started my journey in sustainable projects since 2006. So that's quite a long time. And in the last years, I started to relate my work and my research on resilience and adaptive capacity. So this discussion is super interesting for me, and this new way to show that discussion using a game for me is like an awesome experience. So
exactly.
Yes, I am waiting for more participants also in my.
Okay, so
my
then what we'll do is I'll give people a bit more room to join, and I'll just emphasize that if you're having troubles to join, you can also join through your browser. You don't need to use your phone. It's the same concept. You go to the web page, and then you type in #Team Alex, #Team Jamie, and #Team Sam. I don't want to preference one of those. All three of them had a very nice introduction. Maybe I can tell a bit about myself and my interest. Rishi Kumar, I work at Day of Adaptation. And one of the things that really made me excited to become part of this project and to try changing this narrative is that I experienced the impact of climate change firsthand when I was working in Mumbai, and I saw the impact it can have on local communities. And what I think that this board game does so well is that it makes some of these aspects very concrete. And you're able to work with this topic in a way that is positive, collaborative, and competitive. And that's not something you get often. So I'm very happy to be part of the initiative, and I'm very happy to play this taster role with all of you. So I hope that people join the different groups, but even if that doesn't happen, we will go on and have a conversation about different cards and showcase how the game works between the three of us. And you can always reach out to us to play the game with us. And feel free to join the session while we're ongoing. We'll keep monitoring the different Slido rooms. With that being said, I think I'll move on to the next slide, and I'll showcase what we would do in the first round. So basically, on the screen itself, you see the three different initiative cards that people in the three rooms can pick from. These all protect a different pathway. And the idea here is that you discuss in the breakout room, in the Slido room, which of these cards you find interesting and why, and then afterwards you would have to make a decision on those. Considering that we do not have that many people playing the game, but a lot of people listening in, I think we're gonna just have a discussion on those cards. So I'll start by reading them out loud, and then I'll maybe ask the game leaders of the different rooms to give a comment. Which of the cards do they find interesting? Is there one of these that they have seen up close and in action? So the first card that we had was App Protection. And App Protection focuses on installing a weather app with alert to extreme weather conditions such as flooding, storms, and heat waves. Heed this app's advice to protect yourself. And this is very much focused on health. And this is a very concrete example of something that I've seen in practice as well. The second card that we had is Sound the Bell. This is about reporting potential hazards that threaten critical elements such as bridges, tunnels, and roads during extreme weathers to authorities and get these issues addressed early. This is very strongly a card that is relevant for protecting our transportation. And the last one that we have is Tiles Out. Tiles Out is very concrete. It's about removing boring tiles and replacing with plants from gardens for better drainage during storms. This is for housing. Normally, I would say and ask the game leaders to go to the next question on Slido, which is where you have to make a decision. But if the game rooms are empty at the moment, I'd be happy to hear the game leader say something about these cards in terms of which one do they like the most, what stands out. And this time we are going to start with Team Jamie. Rick, can you let me know which of these cards do you think is interesting and why?
Ooh, I do like. Well, what I do like is the sound the bell. Every community needs a flag bearer, somebody to lead the troops. Where the other one, the app protection, as you mentioned, like there's quite some interesting apps out there that either guide smallholder farmers in what crops to grow with satellite imagery, etc. And the Tiles Out has been quite an active campaign in the Netherlands. I think 2-3 months ago. But I think I would stay with B, Sound the Bell. I think every community needs a ambassador for to lead the troops.
Okay, that's that. I'm not going to be biased and say whether or not I would support that choice. Maybe we have Jana from Team Alex who has a different opinion on it.
No, I think some fun examples of some of the initiative cards in the Minions of Disruption game, and I personally do love the Tiles Out. Something I think Alex, as a student, would probably support and could participate in, which I think that makes it a really cool activity that you can do collectively as a neighborhood, or with your neighbors, or and make an effort to get more soil and less tiles in our cities. So I'll go for option C.
Okay, and Carlos, what is your pick?
Yeah, even though Sound the Bell sounds really, really interesting, I also think that maybe not only preparation, but a new way to see our cities is really, really important, and to try to adapt to the new reality that we are living in. And it's important to change our minds about the tons of cement that we have in our cities, and start to changing that with greener spaces that can help us to drain, but also to have more oxygen and to have a healthier life. So I will go with C.
I think that's a very good option. Very well recent. I think the character of Sam has it pretty much figured out where to go here. We would now face a disruption. So we've all made a choice in terms of where we want to invest in. And let's see what a disruption brings to us. It's the card Sinking Ship. Houses sink as Glimmies dig deep into the ground in a cycle of droughts and floods. This impacts the housing pathway. What does that mean? Well, it means the following. We've seen that the different teams have picked different initiative cards. And if you, in round 1, picked housing as your resilience building, it means that you're immune. Because in this adapted version of the game, you have the Zillion protecting you. So for the team that picked housing, you have 3 points. And then the other teams get 2 points because they face a disruption at the moment. Can we hear from the game leaders what was their choice and which points do they have at the moment? Starting off with Team Alex.
Team Alex opted for the housing, the neighborhood one, and so I have 3 points.
And then Team Jamie.
I'm in a tie. My team has A and C. Nobody opted for the B. That's quite. I did make a good point. So I would like to join the team to everybody that joined that picked number C, so we can claim the points at least.
I don't know if that's entirely fair, but I'll make it work for now. But I won't do that again, okay? And then Carlos, what is your pick? I do know what it is, but can you repeat it for everyone joining us?
In Team Simavi also picked the number the C.
Okay, wow, that is
the option
everyone.
C.
Everyone made smart investments here, but will it play off in the rest of the game? We'll see. So the next round, we have again 3 cards. People listening in, you can still join the different teams, even if it is only to vote and make your opinion count. We have 3 game leaders who all will try to reason their way for a certain choice. Card 1 is Gentle Nudge, which is about suggesting our workplace to go with sustainable products as the default option. Organizations and clients are happy with our recommendations. This is for the production pathway. The second one is Get Zen. Constant Glimmy disruptions make our youth more and more anxious. School offer meditation and yoga programs to help students find the balance. This is for education, and I know a certain student character that might be interested in it. And final one, Urban Farm. Volunteer at urban farms close by. Nice to have our fresh produce on the dinner plate and get to know your neighbors. This is for food and water as pathway. Let's see. So now on Slido, if you're joining in just recently, you can vote on which of these cards you prefer. And I'm going to ask the game leaders to pick once again or reason their way for one card, starting off with Team Sam, Carlos. Which one of these cards appeals the most to you?
Okay, I think that I'm between Get Zen and Urban Farm. And that's the reason why, because thinking about on my character and my situation, my current situation, I will say that that it's really, really important that the schools have these kind of programs that helps you to go through this awful climate crisis, because it's not only a crisis in our cities, it's also a crisis in our minds, and it's really, really difficult to try to stand with this situation. And so that is the reason why Getsen it's appealing to me, but also Urban Farm, because it's really, really important to change our ideas on have our food in the city. But no, at the end I will pick Getsen. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
You convinced me. I won't tell you for which one, but you definitely convinced me for one of them. Um, team Alex, Jana, what are you thinking of?
Yeah, I'm going for. I mean, I thought Carlos' points around getting Zen was a nice one, and I am my persona is a university student, though I think I'm going for gentle nudge. I remember when I was in university, we had some like eat-ins, what we called it, in the cafeteria, where we all brought our own local food and try to convince our the cafeteria that they should stop offering what they were offering at that time, to really try and protest it. And I think that there's a lot that universities can do to kind of change their ways. So I'm thinking that this student would probably organize to make sure that the university and the catering and all of that is more sustainable. And that's probably should go, or he or she would go for gentle nudge. So
Okay,
I'm going for option D. I'm leaving Get Zen and Urban Farms. No, not this time. Not my investment this time.
Okay, no, I think that is a very interesting choice because it showcases how your experience in the game can guide you in a certain direction. And I do think that many students are nowadays very much focused on more sustainable products in terms of what they can cook and what they want to have as an option when they go to the university cafeteria. So fully understand the reasoning there. Jamie, have we convinced you for one of the cards, or do you go your own direction?
Well, I think as a single parent, I think I would love, not speaking from personal experience, I think I would love to have kids that are very Zen. I think that would be the bliss for every single parent. Well, my team is hinging towards urban farming. So 2/3 of the votes are going for urban farm. I think that also has to do with, I think, with good parenting, showing where produces come from. I think that would be it has a nice touch to it as well. So the team goes for F.
Team goes for F. Okay, so we have all the three choices. What disruption will we face? So at the moment, the disruption scale has gone up. The impact of climate change has become a bit worse. And we are facing the following. Train no more. Climmies tie themselves to the train tracks during the heat waves and cause massive delays. People struggle to get to work. Climmies are spreading. This is impacting transportation. So now it's the moment to get a sort of midterm check-in of the different scores. If you have invested in the pathway transport earlier on, it means you're protected from this -2 and you get +2 points. Whereas if you had invested in one of the others, it might still be beneficial, but later on, not now. I'm going to ask the different game leaders, team leaders, to tell me what their total amount is in terms of score so that we can have a midterm ranking. I know Team Jamie, maybe you can kick us off with giving us your total score.
Sadly, this round we didn't score any points, and because we didn't go for option B in the first round, where I made a very strong point. No, we're now at +3. Current standing is +3.
+3. Oof, will that be enough? Can Team Alex give us an update?
I did. I'm also at +3 because we opted for the housing neighborhood pathway and now did not get any extra points this round. So unfortunately, still at 3 points.
Okay, and then the final one is Carlos, Team Sam.
Yeah. Also +3.
+3. So we have basically a tie.
A tie. Yeah.
Everyone is at the same level. Okay, so that is interesting. The final round will be basically who wins the game. Of course, there are no winners and losers, and there's no right or wrong investment to make. That's not what we're promoting here. But in terms of the competitive spirit, we have a very tense game going on. And you can join as well by still going to those hashtags. I'm here to offer a small twist to our game leaders, but also if anyone has joined the different rooms, you can let your opinion be known. Since I explained the concept of cascading impact of climate change, and we're now in the final round. Due to climate change becoming stronger, we have more greenhouse gas emissions and everything going on. The impact has gone higher. So in this final round, the disruption will cause a -3. -3 points. I'm here to offer you a deal. I can freeze a disruption at -2, like we had in the previous round, but you as a team would have to give me a total of 5 points. And it doesn't matter which team contributes to how many points. And all it matters is that I get a total amount of 5 points that will be deducted from your individual team scores. Having said that, you now have the room to go into Slido and let the team leader know if that's a good deal. If there's not that many comments, then it's up to the team leaders to make a decision if they want to take the deal or not. So how do we proceed from here? Let's see. I'm just checking if I see any comments come in. I don't. So that means I will ask the team leaders to make a decision if they want to take the deal. It's also an option to not do it and keep the game going as it is, which is not working together, but that's also an option. So I'll check in. I think last time I started with Carlos. So this time I will start with Alex and Jana. You can make a decision if you want to donate points for the common good.
Yeah, I would definitely donate some points. So I'm thinking 1, since I'm just starting out in my life and trying hard to contribute in all sorts of ways to climate actions. I'm hoping that others will also be able to contribute some points. I'm donating 1.
Okay, I wonder if we see here the benefit of the early announcements, because now there's pressure on the others to follow suit, and we know the target, it's 5, and we need 4 more points. Who goes next? So I think Team Jamie was the one that spoke before, so it's Carlos.
Team Sam. In the spirit of the summit that we are part of as a parallel event, I will say that we are spending two points in this great effort.
That is a massive announcement from Team Sam, which means we have a total of 3 points. There's a lot of pressure on Team Jamie to make a similar move. Will Rick, not to publicly announce it, will Rick make the same decision?
Oh, this is I think Jana did a good move there by being the first one. I think, I cannot stay behind, of course, because I think in the spirit of the game as well, if we get hit by the climate crisis or the climate impact for this round, we can lose -3 points, if I'm correct. So that will make me end up at 0. So I think I will chip in on the 2 points. I will join Team Sam.
I actually just had an intervention in my Slido room. Someone is saying we should donate all 3 points.
Oh,
I
wow.
think
no,
this may just be the thing to do.
So will you, there is room to change your choice here, very briefly. So will you change it to 3 points?
Oh, I changed it to 3 points. I guess we've just collectively raised enough. Will there be, bonus points for
well,
for
what I'll say
points?
is that climate, if it improves for all of us. So I cannot give you an individual bonus point at the end of this. But keep in mind that Alex, as a student who has his or her whole life to live, will enjoy the benefits of this decision.
Yeah, let's go for 3.
3.
Good.
So, Team Jamie, Sam, any other announcements, or are we satisfied?
Now, maybe Team Sam and I can only donate 1 then. I think we're there, right?
That's negotiation.
That is a twist. It's not a twist I had in mind.
Another twist, yeah.
Okay. So
yeah, what happened if we spend more points? It's just
if you spend
more resilience.
Yeah. You do it in the spirit of working together. You work for the greater good. That's all I can give at the moment. At the same time, you don't want to be known as Team Jamie, who just only gave 1 point and basically went back on the promise, on the commitment to its team members. So, Carlos, any change, or will you stay with 2?
Yeah, we are staying with 2 in Team Sam.
Okay. And Rick, you're already at 5 points.
Yeah, exactly. I think 1 Jamie is enough in the world, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So we passed the benchmark. We have a total of 6 points being donated, which means that we will freeze the disruption skill at -2. And we now have, if I counted correctly, Team Jamie leading, then Team Sam, and afterwards Team Alex. But a lot can still change in this final round, because here again we have to make a decision. We again have 3 different cards. Card 1 is come together right now. Join a neighborhood sustainability group. The group leads neighbors to concrete adaptation actions, which is for the politics pathway, because you're working together. You're voting on an action for the neighborhood. The next one is green thumbs. Zillions roll up sleeves and plant thousands of trees in the neighborhood. We save heating and cooling costs. This is a zillion for the pathway neighborhood. And the final one is we got you. Join local organizations to help vulnerable neighbors during extreme weather situations. This is again for the health pathway. Is there any of the game leaders that wants to take the lead for this one in terms of announcing their decision?
I think Team Jamie should go for I to make up for some lost karma points in the previous rounds, I think.
Okay, so we have Team I, we got you. What about Team Alex? I think Team Alex is still thinking.
I'm thinking. I was actually hoping that my live poll will help get me some answers, but I don't see much yet. But I think I would also vote for I personally, because this is sort of the role too that the students can play, and really supporting their neighbors and being more connected in it.
Okay,
so I'll go for I.
That's a very inspirational student we have. What about
Yes.
What about Team Sam? There's no pressure to pick I, by the way.
Yeah, I know. But it's on my interest to help my neighborhood and to help also my community. So I am between G and I. So I am really struggling with my decision. And I will pick G, because it's really important to have a group to lead the decisions that we need to go further.
Yes, no, I understand. I think all of these cards showcase like a different option you can take, but they are all quite important to pick. Having said that, we will face a disruption, and this is where the skill is at level 2, because we did manage to find a deal through very tough negotiations. And what we face is a zombie nation. This is that due to heat waves, under-rested residents sleepwalk at work, causing risks to health and safety. This means that Klimis will be added to health pathway. So now this is the big moment where we will see how your decisions in the game have given you like a benefit or not. Can I receive from the game leaders? I will ask you one by one to give me your total scores. I did not know who I started off with in the last round, so I will ask Jana, Team Alex, to give us the first score. Total score.
I gave away all of my points, and I did gain 1 point by picking the health civilian. So I have 1 point in total.
1 point. Is that a competitive score? We will see.
I doubt it.
There are some doubts about it, but maybe Team Carlos, Sam, how are you doing at the end of the game?
It's a little bit frustrating because I didn't pick the good one, so I am with 0 points.
You're with 0 points. I am actually very surprised by that.
Yes.
Oh no! So then I know what time it is. Team Jamie, Rick, how is it going?
Well, Rishi, hold on to your chair. I have a plot twist for you. The team the majority voted for the J in the previous round, the G. So I'm actually at +1. I think there's a lesson in this.
No, wait, what?
Yeah, there's a lesson in this one.
I did not account for this. See, there we have it. We see it in practice.
Mm-hmm.
You have a team being a tough negotiator, going back on their promise, not winning. The team that gave away a lot of points is as well in the lead. And we have a choice to make. Which one of the two do we want to be? Having said that, I can't congratulate the winner. We're all winners here, especially Team Alex and Team Sam, Janne and Rick. But I do think points to Carlos for showing the positive spirit because he really helped out. I think he donated good amount of points for the common cause. So I think we all contributed to this common goal. And for the people listening in and the ones participating on Slido, thank you as well for shaping the discussion. Having said that, I just want to show you the full version of the board game because what we played just now is the adapted shortened version. And in the full one, we have also like greenhouse gas emissions as its own character, Carbians. But we also have funding. So in this, it has to do with how much does it cost to use a zillion? How much does it cost to invest into an initiative? At the same time, disruption will also hurt you financially. And I think once you play the board game, you can see how you have to make a decision where you really work together in your teams. So if you are interested, we will talk a little bit more about how you can contact us at the end of the presentation. For now, I will hand it over back to Janne, because she is one of the co-winners, to talk a little bit more about our wider project. And then I'll be back at the end to wrap it up.
Yes. Yes, let's go to the next slide. So it's really, hopefully you've sort of got a sense and a feel for what this actual board game would look like and would feel like to play this with your co-workers or with your family or with other members of your sort of community. But in recent months, Day of Adaptation, who is the creative brain behind the game, the Meanings of Disruption game. They partnered with Simavi and Proportion Global and Kewasnet to adapt the game to the Kenyan context. So hereby our goal is really to develop an advocacy tool that is based on game principles that will allow our civil society partners in Kenya to engage, in particular women and youth and groups in vulnerable situations, on climate and water issues and related policies and plans for the local institutions. So really to try and create like an interactive gaming experience. As we know, in East Africa, many livelihoods will be severely affected by climate change and weather disruptions. And on this photo, you see Christine and her neighbors. So how can we provide welcoming spaces for their voices, and how can we invite them to the table? How can we motivate necessary and relevant actions? These are some of the collective challenges that we, as I said, civil society organizations at large, sort of facing and dealing with climate change work. You can go to the next slide. So now you've just had a little teaser, really, of the Meanings of Disruption game. On this pictures, you sort of see it in action. So there is a physical board game that is played by organizations and companies and banks, municipalities in the Netherlands. And then there's also an online COVID-proof version of the game that has been played by communities and students in Chile and Mexico and Philippines, I presume. So it's sort of a 2 to 3 hour game session that is coupled with discussions. So through the game, we try to bring to life how communities are affected by climate change and the initiative that participants can take. We hope that the game experience and sort of subsequent discussions can really transform climate conversations from doom and gloom to something that is energizing and engaging. And so just allow me to highlight how this works or how we want this to work. So we really take fun seriously. We make complex issues easier to understand and more actionable. So then imagine during a game session, how much fun and how insightful it could be for Christine to play the role of a policy decision maker. Secondly, we collaborate with people that we call sort of unlikely heroes. These are local champions among women and girls and youth that we've identified who can step forward and lead community actions. So imagine someone like Christine leading discussions with gay participants from governments and CSOs and private sectors and sort of exploring solutions together. That's the idea behind this tool that we're developing. And thirdly, we use human-centered design principles to adapt the game and are really looking to radically redesign together with our target audience, the game format, the content, the issues, and really gear these to the country context in which we play. And we know we can really simplify the conversation by better reflecting on a community's own climate risk and their own experiences and merging them with their own tools and languages. And so it's through fun and play, and that our project really aims to create a climate positive future that participants can touch. And together we rewrite the narrative on climate and inequality with people like Christine to one that is sort of collaborating and empowering and helpful. So if you want to play the game or work together, really don't hesitate to get in touch with us. And I'm handing it back to Rishi to close up the session. And I think there's one more slide showing some of the online fun reviews.
Some of the online Zoom fun that can happen. I think Carlos is somewhere on that picture, isn't he?
I think so.
Okay.
Yes.
Yeah, I am there. Yeah, at the bottom.
Yeah, one of the most excited. The days when you won the game, I guess. So having said that, like what we saw today is a little bit of a teaser in terms of how we approach the game, how we talk about climate change, but also how you can have fun in the way that you tackle this. I think Jana pretty much summarized our different approach quite well. What I want to show you before we leave is this slide. These are some of the organic reactions that we've gotten after people have played the game. And I think you quite strongly see like some of these keywords such as fun, learning, collaboration, engaging, also a bit complicated. But to be honest, the topic is complicated. And I think what we saw today, a teaser of, is how you can play the game, have fun, but at the same time also discuss certain aspects that come to the forefront. What we hope to do, and we really mean this, is to connect with people. We hope that this helps in being informed of the different options. How you can work together, but also how this competitive spirit can help us all work towards one common goal. For the last slide, I have the email address of our organization on it. You can also go to our website, they have Adaptation. We are very curious to hear your thoughts, whether that's on the game, what are your thoughts on this session that we hosted today, but also what do you think about local initiatives? Do you think that this concept of playing a game or thinking about it in a more fun manner is effective? Have you seen this happen in practice? And we'd be happy to have a discussion with you as the audience on this, just to hear some different thoughts and work together on this goal. For now, first of all, I want to thank the game leaders for really amazingly contributing to the discussion. Thank you for that. I want to thank the participants, everyone listening in on YouTube, for taking the time and joining us for this session. Before I close the stream, I'll ask Rick to maybe see if there was any question on the YouTube stream that was still left open.
No, I think we got to everything. There's no question on YouTube. No.
Okay, so having said that, once again, thank you all for joining. I hope you have a wonderful time listening into other sessions. I hope you do definitely reach out to us. And I wish you a good evening if it's that time, or good afternoon if you're somewhere else. Thank you very much. Bye-bye. Okay. I've stopped recording now. I